So as you guys already know, because we just heard the 5-star, we are now going to be hearing a different side entirely. So this is the 1-star review. Now, I just feel like I always end up picking people with these names that I don't fully know how to pronounce. So I'm going to spell it and then we can discuss it. So the name is Jeana, and the last initial is A. So is that Gianna?
I think it's Gina, but I like Gianna better.
Okay, so should we go with Gianna for purposes of this review?
Yeah,
Let's
Gianna.
do it. All right, Gianna. Okay, Gianna. This is Gianna's one, and Gianna is an elite. I do like to pick those elite Yelp reviewers. So Gianna is an elite Yelp reviewer, and she is from Glendale, California. Just FYI. And this is Gianna's 1-star review of Roobina's cake. I put off writing this review for so long, I think because I wanted to forget the experience, to be honest. Roobina's was hands down the most stressful part of my wedding planning. My husband and I had decided on Truly Yours catering for our wedding. And in the process of getting all the details together, found out that they use Roobina's for the cake portion of their catering. I set up an appointment with Armin for 12 p.m. on a Saturday, to which we arrived promptly, only to find Armin actively working with another customer. No one greeted us. We just stood there awkwardly for about 15 minutes until we just took it upon ourselves to sit down and wait. At that point, Armin went to get his associate from the bakery to assist us. This woman seemed to have no idea what was going on. She didn't even greet us, just sat down and stared at us. She was unfamiliar with the Truly Yours package, was trying to charge me all these extra fees, served us stale cake, and was quite aggressive and rude. She kept having to go over to Armin to sort out what we were talking about. And even as we left the place, I still was totally unsure what our cake would look like and if she was going to try and charge us extra. At this point, I reached out to Truly Yours to try and redeem. At this point, I reached out immediately to Truly Yours to try and remedy the situation. It took 6 months to get an answer, which was a month before my wedding, regarding what our cake would look like / be given our deal with the catering company. Once we knew, I tried to move past the frustration and, have a good wedding. The day of the wedding was rough. We had 110 plus weather, but what made it worse was while we were trying to take pictures and get the ceremony moving, the Roobina's representative dropped our cake and then kept trying to steal flowers from our sweetheart table flower arrangements to cover it up. It was the most unprofessional thing I have ever seen, not to mention incredibly stressful on the day of your wedding. If that wasn't bad enough, a month after the wedding, I kept getting texts from the bakery saying I still owed them money. I promptly told them I did not and referred them back to our catering company and that we were all paid up for everything. Please, people, don't go here for your wedding needs. Maybe they do better work for less stressful occasions, but it honestly was the worst experience I have ever had at any establishment.
Oh no, Chelsey.
Yes, Gianna had an experience. She did.
No.
Isn't it so hard to hear these things said about Armin and like this experience with the cake that's so different from what we heard from Nadia?
I literally want to cry.
I know.
Thinking about the delivery person that
dropping the
cake. I literally feel like I'm tearing up. Why am I having distraction? Can you?
I can't.
What do you do? What do
I
you
don't know.
Okay, I also have a whole other question.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe Roobina's cake is like short staffed? Because this is my question. If you
Yeah.
have a business and you
Mhm.
have an appointment at noon and
Yeah.
someone walks in and is
Right.
going to spend $600 on a cake, how do you then juggle the hierarchy of like
Right.
I'm 20
Like, do
minutes
I
into
see
this?
this person that just stopped in
I think that
knowing I have an appointment?
I think a good start, which Gianna points out, is that they weren't even like acknowledged.
Right.
Like, I think you could be like, "Hey, I am so sorry. We're running a little over. Let me send over some taste samples or something."
Right.
Like, I think
Right.
there is like a slick way to deal with that. It sounds very clear that the person that was sent out like didn't have
Didn't
a lot of
have the
experience with customer
right.
service.
I mean, especially because they had to keep reporting back to Armin. It was like they were just literally there to be a body in the room with these people, it sounded like.
It's interesting because like it also is really funny to me to imagine like this woman from the back, as Gianna writes, just sat down and didn't say
And
anything to
stared
them.
at them.
Can you imagine
I
just being like,
know. How
and like
awkward.
smelling
And then
like
what about the
sugar?
idea of like, because of that interaction, not really knowing what your cake is going to look like until you get to like a month before, after you've been trying to reach them for like whatever they said, 4 months or
Well,
6 months.
six months, which was 1 month before the wedding. Like
Right.
that actually sounds to me like an issue with the catering company, Truly Yours.
You think so?
I did start to think like,
What is truly yours and what is Roobina's?
well, I think that the experience that Gianna had in the store is horrible.
Right.
I do also think that there needs to be leeway in like a grace period of time. Like if you have an appointment and an appointment is running over, like
Right.
I get the 15 minutes is a really long time to not even be addressed, and then you take it upon yourself to sit down, and then they send someone over, and the experience is horrible. Like it seems like it was snowballing.
Right.
But when you immediately reach out to Truly Yours to say like this cake company bundled this what's the word? Bungled. This cake company bungled my meeting today, and it's part of my package with you. So something needs to be worked out here. Then I think that it's Truly Yours as responsibility if I've hired
at that point to intervene.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I also wonder, just because I'm so glad that we brought in the different reviews that we did, because with Nadia, it was very clear that Nadia sought out Roobina's cake. Like they chose them to do their cake. They were excited about it.
Right.
And that was like their dream version of the wedding cake. Whereas with Nadia, she didn't choose them. So a couple things. One, I wonder, like, was she kind of judging it or like bringing a little bit of an attitude with her because she was like, ugh, and we have to go with this cake place or something like that? Or did the cake place treat her not as nice because they weren't a direct customer and they were coming from Truly Yours? Like, did they have an arrangement with Truly Yours with where maybe they pay a flat rate or something like that so that they're not making as much on the exchange? And so maybe they don't treat those customers as nicely or prioritize them as much as they do their one-on-one customers. I do wonder.
I did have a similar thought of like, I wonder if there's even if it's like unintentional, a different hierarchy. But I would imagine that if you were a cake company, your bread and butter is like wedding cakes. So like you would think that you would
you'd be able to show up.
I don't know. I don't even know what Armin looks like, but it does seem to me that they were short staffed and like suddenly had 2 appointments at the same time. I think that there needs to be some way to handle that.
Right.
So all of that's just the first part of this review.
I know.
The actual wedding day and it gets dropped. I mean, if you are Roobina, that is something that has to like there has to be a
plan.
A contingency.
There has to be a contingency plan. Absolutely. And because that is the worst faux pas. That is the worst. And how do you even charge someone for a cake after that? You know?
I mean, for the man hours of making
I
it,
guess
maybe,
so. But I mean, like, but without providing a replacement.
I mean,
You know,
I don't even know
run
how
another
you.
cake over there. I don't know. Like they've got to have, like you said, like a contingency, at least like a plain wedding cake in the back in the fridge, ready to go just in case, something like that were to happen, especially on a day, which we didn't talk about this really, but they said it was 110 degrees, which I
Oh,
like. What does that do to a cake to begin with? Like, does that melt a cake at 110 degrees? I mean, I would imagine that's not ideal cake weather.
I still can't get over the guy dropping it.
I know. I know.
And then the claim that they were stealing flowers from the sweetheart table to like cover up the mistakes. So maybe it was, so I guess it wasn't smushed. It wasn't completely ruined. It was sort of
Right.
like we can deal with something.
Yeah, it was like an oopsie daisy that like maybe we can fix it with some flowers. I don't
Oh
know. I
my
mean,
God.
I thought it was interesting because they said that or um Gianna Gianna said that they were taking pictures at the time. So it made me wonder, like, did Gianna see this go down? Like, was she taking
I wondered
her
that
her
too.
her photos and like while she's trying to smile with her fiance soon to be husband for these pictures, she's seeing out of the corner of her eye that her cake is being dropped? Because like that's trauma right there. Or is it that like she sees the cake and then she's like, what's going on? And then someone's reporting that back to her. I just wonder how she acquired this information.
It seems to me that if a cake is dropped, if the story you're telling me, you're painting is
Yeah.
that the cake was dropped, that makes me think it's no longer a cake.
Right. Right. True. Yeah. You mean that it's just like completely dropped and it's like in pieces on the floor and it needs a mop at that point?
Yeah, my imagining was that it tumbled and went head first onto the ground, which I'm making that up. That's not what
Right.
Gianna
Like
wrote.
you're seeing that happen in your head in slow motion.
Oh my God. But I did
Terrifying.
also, to your point, I did wonder, did
Mhm.
Gianna view and witness the person dropping it? Or
Yeah.
was it like messed up and the story was, oh, it was like knocked, or and then someone was like, I saw him drop it. Like, did it turn into
Right.
rumor mill? And then
Right.
the last part of this review is the bickering about the remaining
The money.
the money, which is so
Yeah.
odd. That once, see, I need to, I want to hold up a flag here about
Yeah.
Truly Yours. What
Yeah.
is going on there?
I agree. I mean, I had a thought about that. It seems like Gianna is handling a lot of this interaction when a lot of this interaction should maybe have been handled by Truly Yours. Like, isn't that the whole point of hiring one of these companies, is that they're managing these exchanges? Or is it just that like Truly Yours?
But see here, but also
Yeah,
because you hire this catering company that has this affiliation with the cake company, I
correct.
wonder if it's like, okay, well, then you go, like, your package consists of this much for the
Right.
wedding cake. And if you end up going over that, then you have to
Then
pay
you
the
owe the
remaining
difference.
balance.
I mean, yeah, I think fine, maybe. But if that were the case, then don't you think that Roobina should have been like, okay, cool. Here are the Truly Yours cakes,
You would
and
think.
you can get any of these. And if you want to get something from like this page or that page, then it's this much more. If you want to have like two flavors of cake instead of one flavor of cake, it's going to be this amount. I mean, I think that
Right.
the major problem that occurred is it seems like Roobina's double booked themselves, and then they, instead of just like trying to own up to that fact, they tried to throw this person in there that was really ill equipped to deal with Gianna. And therefore this really just started on a bad foot, and it just, like you said, just snowballed from there. And we're not getting the information that we should, and now I owe you money. Like, there's just a lot of confusion that I think could have been cleared up had that first meeting been more effective and
What is
efficient.
what is Gianna's spelling and grammar like?
Very good. Yeah, very good and clean. We used all caps sometimes, but again, not in a way that is like abusive. I feel like I felt Gianna's passion in this review. I feel like if I were somebody that was getting married, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think this might be a deal breaker, like about just the idea of them dropping the cake and like using my flour. I don't know. There's so much of this that I think would make me queasy. But then I guess it's hard because we always want to consider these things individually and in context. Like individually, this sounds like a terrible experience. Like, oh my God, never ever going there. But then knowing that Roobina's has like what, 4.67 or 8 out of 5 on Yelp, like this could have been an anomaly. This could have been a really bad day. It was 110 degrees. This could have just been, I don't know, just like really, really bad luck and not necessarily, anybody's malicious intent.
Yeah.
I
mean, to me, I'm not sure what I think the impact of this. It feels like a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can get into it in my
in your assessment at the end. Should we go ahead and crown?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
The queens are tabulating.
All right, Trey. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
All right, I'm ready, yeah.
The queens are tabulating. Total score.
Wow. Okay. I don't know what's happening today. Trey is holding up 4 crowns and I'm holding up 3.5 crowns. All right, Trey, you start us off. Why'd you give Gianna 4 crowns?
This one was hard for me because I don't think that this is a deal breaker for me because it does seem like this was a fluke experience. It does seem atypical, only because I think that the customer service in the shop was a little askew. I don't think you can run a business that way. Like, I think there was an error there, yes. But then dropping the cake obviously is no one's intention.
Sure.
So it just seems horribly like unfortunate. I mean, it's sort of, I just keep thinking about this catering company. I feel like Gianna like wasn't supported. And the claims about covering with the stolen flat, like all of that just starts to feel a little like, I don't know.
Right.
But I gave it 4 because I do believe that I don't know. I gave it 4 because I am feeling a little icky in my tummy.
Yeah.
It wasn't humorous. I was entertained from like terror. I almost like I was teary-eyed about the person
about the cake drop. I know.
It would make me want to inquire about the transportation.
Yes.
So that's why I gave it 4.
That's a lasting impact for sure.
Because it's having an impact on me, even though I don't know how I feel about it, but it's gonna last with me. So that's why I gave it 4. Okay, why'd you do 3.5?
I actually 3.5 because of something that you brought up in our assessment about like the truly yours and where do they come into this equation and how could they have intervened earlier or in a different way to make this process run a lot more smoothly. I'm just questioning that a little bit. So that's why I took off the 1.5 crowns, but I do think it's impactful. I do think I think this is Gianna's experience, and I think that's really unfortunate. I would not put it on Roobina's that this would definitely happen to me if I was going to use them. Like just again, it's hard because we're trying to review just this review, but I think that I have a little bit of mind that it's 110 degrees. This was a snowball effect. I think I would be able to take the temperature. Like if that first meeting did not go well, I think I would just jump ship right then and there. But I don't think it would necessarily keep me from using Roobina's. And for that reason, I gave not Nadia. Sorry. For that reason, I give Gianna 3.5 crowns.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah. But Trey, I've been holding out on you a little bit because
there's a reply.
OMG, guys.
From Roobina.
Okay, I'm really intrigued here because I need to know if there's something misleading. I want to know what's happening. Tell me.
I think you are being a very good detective. So, all right. So this is from Roobina Z. She is the business owner of Roobina's Cake.
Oh,
and this is her reply to Gianna.